Good afternoon. Welcome on in to the afternoon edition of From Day One on this Christmas Day. Well, sometimes we never get to hear the end of a story. Today we do. DUI Karen that we had from a few days ago, we have her now at the jail. Again, with us is Regical, the Unhallowed Knight.
When I ask you questions, you can just say, "Oh, I don't want to answer that. I'm going to arrest you."
Okay, ma'am. See, there we go again.
Indeed, there we go again. Haven't we suffered enough? No, she's gonna make sure of that.
Have your seat on the red chair. Have a seat, please. So, ma'am, listen. I explained to you. I have to read you this card. It's going to give you details on what is going on right now. Okay? If you could just, hold back a little bit and ask the questions there at the end. Okay? I'll answer any questions you need. Okay? So listen.
Oh, finally, you're going to answer my question?
Shut up! I'm sorry, it's just a reflex.
Well, we're face to face now, man. We're off the side of the road. You know what I mean?
Okay, so nothing matters before this? When I ask you questions, you can just say, "Oh, I don't want to answer that. I'm going to arrest you."
Okay, ma'am. See, there we go again. This is where we got into the battle on the side of the road. Okay?
But there was no battle.
Listen,
I was asking you questions that I feel like I have the right to answer to.
You are under arrest for driving while under the influence of intoxicating liquor and/or drugs. DWI. The New Mexico Implied Consent Act requires you to submit to a breath test to determine the alcohol content of your blood. After you take our test, you have the right to choose an additional independent test. If you choose to take this additional independent test, you have the right to a reasonable opportunity range for a physician, a licensed nurse or laboratory technician, or technologist who is employed by a hospital or physician of your own choice to perform an additional chemical test. The cost of this additional test will be paid by the law enforcement agency, which is New Mexico State Police. Do you agree to take our test? Yes or no?
Well, that's easy enough, it's just a yes or no question.
And it's a breath test that I'm asking for.
I'm sorry. Am I required to agree to take this test?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, so since you said, am I required to take this test, I cannot force you to take our test, or this test, but if you refuse, you will lose your New Mexico driver's license or non-resident operating privilege for 1 year. If you are convicted in court of driving while under the influence, you may also receive a greater sentence because you refuse to be tested. Do you understand?
No, I don't understand.
What don't you understand?
I do not understand.
What don't you understand?
I don't understand why you think I need this test.
Because you've been arrested for DWI. So
and
listen.
Why have I been arrested for DWI?
You'll find out in the report that I'm going to write, okay? So listen, once again, I cannot force you to take our test.
You haven't told me why you've arrested me.
If you refuse, you will lose your New Mexico driver's license or non-resident operating privilege for 1 year. If you're convicted in court or driving while under the influence, you may also receive a greater sentence because you refuse to be tested, as well as you're going to be charged with aggravated DWI. It's just how the state works. Do you understand?
No, I don't understand. I don't understand why I'm being...
Okay, well, I read it to you.
...that it's aggravated?
Yep.
I don't understand what I did that caused this. I don't understand the probable cause.
I already told you, okay?
You haven't, though.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me.
Bloodshot water your eyes, the driving behavior, the strong odor of alcoholic beverage made from your breath, still been present with even this distance right here, man.
From the person that I was giving a ride home who had
okay, because he's not even here no more, right? That makes total sense. Okay, so listen, do you now agree to be tested, or do you agree to take our test?
What is the test?
The breathalyzer.
What we have here is the ultimate contrarian. And a nurse that doesn't know what a breathalyzer is. Yeah, of course she's faking it. She's faking everything. She doesn't understand. Well, she does. She just keeps asking the stupid questions over and over again as if it's some kind of safety net or a get-out-of-jail-free card. Hey, you smelly dick flute. It's not. Your feigned ignorance is not a defense.
And what is that?
Oh, that would be your brainy bit not functioning correctly. But that's mostly because of entitlement and Karenism, fueled by a good dose of dipshittery. And what exactly were you gonna do? We are driving to work, drunk? Is that the kind of nurse you are? Hey, here's a pro tip. Wipe that smug look off your face. You stupid motherfucker.
This is the Intoxilizer 8000. This is how it measures alcohol in your breath.
And how does it measure it?
Grams of alcohol per 210 liters of breath. Any other questions? So, do you now agree to be tested, yes or no?
You said, are there any other questions? And I didn't get a chance to answer.
Isn't that the other way around? You ask questions, you don't answer your own questions. I'm sure you want to answer your own questions. Are you perhaps Karen-splaining? We do not take kindly to that kind of horseshit. But don't worry, a care package has been launched.
I didn't even say that. I said, do you now agree to be tested, yes or no?
And I'm sorry,
Okay.
what are...
You're not answering my question, so I'm going to consider your actions refuse to be tested this time, as well
I'm
as you're
not
charged with
refusing,
aggravated
sir.
DWI, okay?
I'm not refusing at all. I'm just trying to clarify what you're asking me because you're not being very clear.
I'm sorry, I'm not being clear to you. I'm speaking as clear as possible.
Yeah, it's not a problem on your end, officer. She is just being, as a matter of fact, I actually think she's genuinely stupid. That is possible. How do you even operate a vehicle with a brain like that? I guess even this Karen needs to have a drink to get in the car with herself.
Okay, but I have some questions about what you're...
Go ahead, ma'am. What's your question you might have?
What is a breathalyzer 8000?
Intoxilizer
What is
8000?
it? How does it work?
You blow into the machine and it detects and measures your alcohol content in your blood,
Okay.
in your breath.
And I'm required to do that test?
I just told you the consequences. I can read it to you again if you need to.
Yes, please. Please read it to me again because I couldn't quite hear you. You were going really fast.
Well, actually, no, he wasn't going really fast. You were the one that was going really fast. Now you're in this situation. Or should I say situation? The irony of a speeder telling someone they're talking too fast. At this point, you're just stalling for time. But still, if you refuse, your license is gonna get taken away for a year. There's no buts about that. And the unfortunate camera angle actually showed us what kind of butt you have. Camera filling. Put some proper pants on, Karen.
Okay, let me slow it down for you, okay?
Okay.
So once again, I cannot force you to take our test. But if you refuse,
This officer really has godlike patience, doesn't he?
you will lose your New Mexico driver's license, a non-resident operating privilege for 1 year. If you are convicted in court of driving under the influence, you may also receive a greater sentence because you refuse to be tested. Do you understand?
Not quite. Why would I lose my license for a year?
Because when you sign your for your driver's license, you state that I will take a breath test if it's given to me or offered to me. Now, if you
And
refuse,
it's
so just
offered
read
to you?
that. I'm offering it to you now, ma'am.
Right, but under what grounds?
Basically, when you accept your driver's license, it is in a way a contract with the state. Maybe instead of acting the fool, you should just hand it over and promise to never drive again, like I said before. You clearly don't deserve the privilege.
Because you're arrested for DWI.
And why did you arrest me for DWI?
I already explained that to you, ma'am.
Because you thought I was...
I don't think I know.
You know what?
I know that you're intoxicated and you should not be driving, ma'am.
Because I was... What? Was I going over
I already
the speed
explained to you.
limit? You didn't explain that to me, sir.
You'll be able to revert to the video where I explained to you multiple times. Maybe you're having a difficult time understanding me because you're under the influence.
I'm not under the influence, sir. I have type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
Yep, and you're not showing any of the symptoms of your diabetes type 1, which causes a stench of alcohol coming from your gob. As a matter of fact, if that would happen, you couldn't even bloody drive. That's how sick you would feel. It's both ridiculous and disgusting. You're trying to hide behind your illness.
My blood sugar is a little bit off. I was picking up a friend so that he wouldn't drive drunk.
Ah, a little bit off. Well now, you just admitted to lying to the officer, because a little bit off wouldn't even cause any problems with alcoholic smelling breath. Well done, so-called nurse.
I understand that you wouldn't listen to that.
Okay.
I don't know where we meet in the middle.
Well, you're already incarcerated. You're going to jail, ma'am. You're going to be booked into the Metropolitan Detention Facility here in about an hour or so.
Under what charges?
DWI. Aggravated DWI. Speeding, careless driving, ma'am.
Don't forget stupidity.
Do you feel good about arresting someone who is trying to give somebody else a ride who had been drinking?
I do feel amazing right now because I know I saved somebody's life, man.
Damn straight, officer. Damn straight. And good on ya. Of course the crocodile tears are gonna flow. You know, she tried the victim card before, now she's gonna try it again. You're a drunk driver doing a bit of speeding there, Karen. You deserve no respect.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Life from a sober person who is trying to give a drunk person a ride home.
Okay, ma'am.
You feel amazing about that?
I do feel okay with my decision to arrest you, ma'am. I don't feel like you should have been driving. So, ma'am, listen, I entered your information to top sizer 8,000. This is where you can provide a breath sample. Can you read this for me, please? It says, please blow until the tone stops. This is where you can provide a breath sample. Do you wish to?
Well, I'm sorry, what is the need for that?
This is where you, like you said, you said it had nothing to drink. This is where it's going to prove it. But it's ultimately your choice. I read you what I'm requesting is a breath sample. I read you the consequences. You didn't answer yes or no. You became argumentative. So your actions are going to...
I'm just asking what
So
the consequences
listen, your
are.
actions at that time indicate that you're refusing to be tested. I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Enter your information to this machine here.
My blood sugar is not
Do you
normal.
wish to provide a breath sample?
I don't know what that means.
Do you wish to just provide a breath sample? Yes or no, ma'am?
What does it mean if I provide a breath sample?
You blow into the machine.
And what does that do?
It's going to indicate your blood alcohol content or your breath alcohol content.
Okay, and if I do that, that's a good thing?
It's ultimately up to you. It's going to determine where you're at. If you refuse, you're going to be charged with aggravated DWI. That's just how the state works.
And why would I be charged with aggravated?
Because you're refusing to be tested, ma'am.
And if I feel that I don't need to be tested, that's aggravated?
Yes, ma'am.
Just to clarify?
Yes, ma'am.
Automatically that's aggravated?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's no way to clarify that I was not aggravated?
Well, irony has it, you have to blow into the machine to prove you are not doing a boozing while cruising. But you know that. Stop pretending you don't. Stop sitting there like a little 6-year-old trying to get her way. You don't even realize that this is not gonna work. It's only gonna be a worse outcome. Come to think of it, please continue.
This is the clarification right here, ma'am. Once again, it's up to you on your choice.
But if I
know after the machine times out, usually takes about 3 minutes. Then email me. If you tell me you want to provide a breath sample, I'll walk you through on how to do it, and we'll get you through the breath sample. Okay?
That's great. And in the meantime, before it times out.
Well, you don't have that long, so make a decision real quick.
Okay, you're pressuring me to
I'm
do
not
this.
pressuring you to do anything, ma'am.
If
It's
I
ultimately
feel
your
that
decision.
I am not drinking and driving, and I feel that this is unnecessary for me.
Hey Karen, I'll let you in on a little secret. That is not for you to determine. I love how there's now a timer on it. The machine doesn't play games, and this officer still has godlike patience. It's very impressive.
Is that a bad thing? Does that automatically make me guilty somehow?
So listen, I already explained it to you. You can provide a breath sample. You have a right to a secondary independent test. Okay, if you do provide a breath sample. If you don't, and you sit here and just let the machine time out, it's going to make a little funky noise.
Okay.
And the machine times out, you're going to be charged with aggravated DWI. That's just how the state works because you're refusing
And
to be
if I
tested.
get the secondary and it's not an aggravated level of alcohol, what does that do?
So the only ways you could be charged with aggravated DWI if you blow a .16 or higher, a great bodily injury or car accident, stuff like that,
That didn't
or a
happen.
refusal. So those are the only ways you could be charged with that. So if you blow over a .08 and under a .16, you're going to be charged with DWI simple. First offense, not aggravated. Okay? So it's ultimately up to you.
Wait. Did she just say okay? And there wasn't a follow-up question? What's going on, Karen? Are you gradually realizing how stupid you are? Oh no. Your brainy bit is becoming self-aware. This has never happened in Karenism history.
I'm not refusing, I'm just asking for clarification.
Okay. False alarm, everyone. False alarm. You know, I'm an optimist by nature, but Karens are, by nature, despicable.
And I clarified it, ma'am. I just want to let you know the machine will make a funky noise when the machine times out, okay?
Okay.
And that's when it's going to be no sample introduced and you'll be charged with aggravated DWI. Do you wish to provide a breath sample?
If I don't provide a breath sample and it automatically makes that noise, as you're saying...
That noise there? Yes.
Well, I guess it's too late to ask you the question then.
Go ahead, ma'am. If you change your mind, I can rerun the machine. What was your question?
I really don't understand if I wasn't drinking tonight. I've always been told that a police officer has to have probable cause.
And I did. And I still do.
You said I was speeding. You didn't charge me with speeding. You pulled me out and you made me do field sobriety tests, and I don't feel like I was failing those. I don't feel like I did anything wrong except try to drive my friend home who was drinking.
Okay, ma'am, that's your personal opinion.
And that's my honest truth.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I have to do my job.
I get that, but I don't understand what all these machines mean. I don't understand why I can't have a phone call. I don't understand.
And I told you could have a phone call once I'm done with all this process. Now that the machine's done and everything else, you're not going to provide a breath sample. We're going to put you in the holding cell. You're going to get your cell phone. You're going to make a phone call.
I just don't understand what the benefit versus the risk is of me providing a breath sample because you didn't explain it to me.
Ma'am, listen.
Officer, what makes you think she's gonna listen now? She hasn't been listening the entire bloody time, even during the first part of this entire circus act. She wants to act like a clown. Treat her like one.
I am way too old for this crap to be dealing with the argumentative stuff. I explained to him multiple times.
I've never had this happen before, so I'm sorry you're too old for it, but I don't understand.
I don't understand how I can explain to you any better. It's a simple, basic stuff.
My experience.
Would you like to read it? Maybe that will help you?
Oh, great. Now she's gonna pretend she can't read? I mean, her entire circus act has crashed into the canyon, bounced off the canyon floor, crashed into a mountain, the mountain exploded, and... well, there she is. I don't know, coward. There's always a mountain in my story that explodes. There just is.
That might help me, but you haven't offered me
Stand
that.
up. Look, it's right here. Right here. It's simple letters.
This is the first you've told me of
And I've read it to you. So I'm going to read it to you again.
You have not read it to me.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Listen to me. I'm about to tell you something important. You are under arrest for driving while under the influence of intoxicating liquor and or drugs. DWI.
And
The New Mexico Complexant Act requires you to submit to a breath test to determine the alcohol content of your blood. After you take our test, you have the right to choose an additional independent test. If you choose to take this additional independent test, you have the right to a reasonable opportunity to arrange for a physician, a licensed nurse, or laboratory technician or technologist who is employed by a hospital or physician of your own choice to perform an additional chemical test. The cost of this additional test will be paid by the law enforcement agency, which is New Mexico State Police. That's who I'm employed with.
okay.
Do you agree to take our test? The breath test is what I'm asking for. It's a yes or a no.
Okay. I don't feel like you explained that to me. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be difficult.
Really? All of this is not you trying to be difficult. And that is exactly the end of that sentence.
I'm just scared.
So,
I've never been
do
in this
you agree
position
to take our
before.
test? Yes or no, ma'am?
I wish you could tell me what the ramifications are one way or another. I don't know
You're
what's
not answering
the
my
best
question,
thing.
so I'm going to continue reading. I cannot force you to take our test, but if you refuse, you will lose your New Mexico driver's license or non-resident operating privilege for 1 year. If you are convicted in court of driving under the influence, you may also receive a greater sentence because you refuse to be tested. Do you understand that?
So to clarify, if I refuse and I want a secondary test, I still lose my New Mexico driver's license.
If you
for 1
refuse,
year?
you only get an opportunity to do your secondary end test because you have to do the first one first. You understand that? So if you do the first one, is the breath is what do you call a breathalyzer, then you have an opportunity for your secondary independent test. You get your cell phone, you make a phone call to whoever you want to make a phone call. They come over here, they have to bring their own blood kit, and they have to come and draw your blood.
Okay.
That's a secondary end test.
Okay.
So like I said, do you understand what I read you?
I'm trying to. I'm sorry.
I cannot force you to take our test, but if you refuse, you will lose your New Mexico driver's license or non-resident operating privilege for 1 year.
And that's automatic.
Yep, that sounds about right.
If you are convicted in court of driving while under the influence, you may also receive a greater sentence because you refuse to be tested. Do you understand?
I'm trying to understand. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be stupid here. I just don't understand law stuff enough.
Do you now agree to be tested? Yes or no?
So it's an automatic 1 year if I refuse to be tested?
That's what it says, man.
Even if I get a secondary testing that's like negative, that's like I was not drinking tonight?
That's ultimately if you get it, yes, ma'am.
So,
And it's going to go to court and you get to argue it.
and so if I argue it, proof that I wasn't drunk tonight, will I still lose my license for 1 year, or is it...
Also going to be if you get convicted or not, ma'am.
Okay.
So, do you now agree to be tested? I just need to know if I'm going to run the machine again or not.
And if I don't get tested, what's going to happen?
You're going to be charged with aggravated DWI, refusal, speeding, and careless driving. And you're going to get to the Bernalillo Metropolitan Detention Facility.
And why will I be charged with careless driving?
What?
Why will I be charged with
You're
careless
stopped
driving?
at a green light, man. That's what it is. You're not paying full
Because
attention.
The other car that was coming across the intersection looked like he wasn't going to stop. So
Okay.
I was stopped to see if he was going to
Okay,
stop.
and you can explain that to the judge.
Okay, I can
Okay.
explain that?
Yeah, you can explain anything you want to the judge. Go and have a seat, ma'am.
Sorry. I thought I was being safe. I didn't think it was
So-
breaking the law. I thought I was being
Okay.
careful.
Ma'am, listen. Do you want me to run the machine again, or do you not?
I don't know. I don't know what's
Okay.
the best thing to
We're
do
done
here.
now.
I've never been
Go and stand
arrested.
up. Let's go over here. We're done. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, and I'm sorry.
Trying to argue. I'm just
You
trying to
are. You're
find
being...
out what's the best.
I can't tell you. I'm a cop. I'm not a lawyer. I can't tell you that information, unfortunately, okay? So sit down and get...
You gotta love the intercontinental face punch projectile. That's why I didn't cut off the video. The video just ended there. That's a good thing, because I don't want to hear any more whiny noises coming from that total twat waffling dick flute. Yes, quite. What seems fitting. I left last video in Cow's hand. Cow leaves this video in my hands. Remember to tickle the bell and all things around it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Whenever you hear noises like that, walk away.
I am way too old for this crap to be dealing with the argumentative stuff. I explained to him multiple times.
I've never had
I'm
this
to
happen
the point-
before, so
I'm
I'm
to the
sorry
point
you're
where I
too
don't-
old for it, but I don't understand.
I don't understand how I can explain to you.
All right, we'll finish this last fight and then we'll bring the afternoon to a close here on From Day One. We do wish you the best of holiday tidings and greetings. But make sure you do come back tonight for more from day one. Enjoy the last fight. We'll see you tonight.